Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Yana Samaria, and we are back again with another banger, y'all. I'm so excited to be here. If you are new, welcome, love, welcome to the family. And if you have already spun this block and you're spinning it again, what's good with you? So you already know, before we get any further, I need you to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can get each and every video every time I post. If you do not know where you are at the channel where love conquers all, baby. We talk about everything. There's no limit, there's no niche. We just talk about anything from personal love, growth, development, of course, my favorite, spirituality. We dibble and dabble into a lot of things. So today we're gonna get into nitty gritty because I know y'all seen what happened last Sunday. I know y'all seen what happened last Sunday. And it's right now, it's a topic of discussion. Everybody's talking about Mike Todd and what happened with Mike Todd. And it's like a question of whether should he be canceled or should he not? Was it intentional or was it not? Is he a horrible person or is he not? Let's get right on into it. So if you don't know what happened, I'm gonna go ahead and break it down to you in the simplest form because I don't want you to be like, what happened? So in the simplest form, he did a sermon last Sunday on vision. And if you know Mike Todd, you know he's big on illustrations. He's big on I can't even talk today. He's big on demonstrations because some people are visual learners like myself. So it is always helpful when he puts his sermons into a visual so that you can be like, oh, okay, that's how that correlates. That makes sense. And so he did a sermon where, like I said, he was talking about vision. And in him talking about vision, he referred to the story of when Jesus healed a blind man's sight with spit or with, whatever. So what he did was he spit on his hand, and then I know y'all know what I'm about to say next, and he probably like, no he didn't. Yes he did. He took the spit and he wiped it on the guy's face, like all of his face, like under his eye, not necessarily on his eye, but kind of like in the same area as his eye to demonstrate what Jesus did. And Lord, the city was in an uproar. The world, y'all, was in an uproar. And I'm not gonna lie, I am transparent as ever. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna keep it nothing. You feel me? So when I first saw it, I couldn't even watch it at first. I was like, When he into his hand, I said, I can't even see what he's about to do next because I just know that he's not about to do that. And he put the spit on his face, and I was like, see, this is what we're not gonna do. I was upset. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was very, very upset because I'm like, why would you do that? That is disgusting. Because us as Americans, us as people, we look at spit as being correlated to something that's disrespectful. Somebody spits on in your face, you spazzing out. You feel me? You spazzing out. If someone sneezes and their spit gets on you, you're like, ew. Everything to do with spit is labeled as disgusting, nasty, disrespectful, discriminatory, all of that good stuff. So it's like to see someone deliberately spit in their hand and slap somebody in the face with it, it was just wow. It was wild to me, and I didn't understand why he would do that. In order for you to understand what I'm about to say next, because what I'm about to say next is gonna get a lot of people panties in a bunch, a lot. So for you to understand what I'm gonna say next, you have to understand a little bit about who Mike Todd is and his preaching style and everything like that. So I'm going to break that down to you. A lot of people have different preaching styles. Some people get up there and yeah all day, and some people get up there and scream, hoop, holler, run around in circles, and some people are very calm and poised about their message or whatever. But Mike Todd is very energetic. He's very wild. He's very crazy. He's very should I say dramatic? Because he is very dramatic. And he loves, you can tell he's a visual learner. You can tell that's how he was kind of brought up and how he learned and kind of allowed himself to grasp a lot of things by visualizing and allowing it to play out in front of his eyes. So when the 99.9% of his sermons, there's always a demonstration in there where he puts it into perspective for you so that people who are like, no, I don't understand God, but I don't get it, can actually, he puts it into a practical example so that you can be like, oh, that's how that works, type of thing. He almost never misses a sermon without a demonstration, and this sermon was no different. He had a demonstration, but y'all, this demonstration was a little bit overboard. But I I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I'm gonna get in trouble for this because I've already gotten in trouble for this by a lot of people. I'm just gonna lay it on you. I want to start by saying I understand. I understand the anger, I understand the frustration, I understand the disturbance, the disgust. I understand it all. I understand your point of view because I had it initially. And listen to what I said, initially. But for me, I like to look at things the way I like to try, because we're not anything like God or like Jesus or the Holy Spirit, but I like to look at things and try to look at things from the eye of my Creator, because He made me in His image. So we're a little bit alike. He wanted me to be like Him. That's why He made me in His image. So initially I felt bad for being so upset, and then I had to actually, y'all, you know, I'm transparent. I had to talk to someone about the situation, and that special someone kind of was like, got me in order, got me in check, and said some things that made me think about it. And I was like, wait a minute, you're right, I'm taking this too far, and let me wind it back. Let me tell y'all something. I put on Instagram, I said, people make mistakes, no one's perfect. And I had people like, what do you mean, Ayana? That's crazy. Why would you support Mike Todd? You know, I'm canceling him. And then I would go to comments of, you know, when they blogs posted about Mike Todd, and the comments were just disturbing and disgraceful, y'all. Tasteless. Okay? And these were comments from people who claim to be a Christian, who claim to follow God hand and foot, who claim to know God very, very well. And it broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It literally broke my heart how y'all tore this man apart for a mistake. And yes, I said it again. It was a mistake. And I had someone say, Ayana, that wasn't a mistake. That was intentional. Do y'all know that there's such thing as an intentional mistake? I know. You're gonna be like, girl, that don't even make no sense. Let me break it down for you, because you know, maybe, let me just break it down for you. Okay, so an intentional mistake can go something like this, because I've had some mistakes where in the moment I really thought that was a good idea. I thought that was a good idea to wear, a good idea to go, you know, a good idea to do that to this person or for this person. And I really, you know, if anybody was trying to check me about it, I was going to stand up on what I believe. I was going to be 10 toes down. And I was going to be like, no, what I believe is what I believe. I think this is the right thing to do. And then I did it. And then I found out this was actually terrible, and it hurt a lot of people's feelings. It hurt this person, or it made me not be able to have this opportunity, or whatever the case may be. I thought I was doing the right thing at the time, but in reality, it turned out to be the wrong thing, an intentional mistake. And so when you really think about it that way, you can honestly be honest with yourself and sit back and say, well, I probably made a lot of intentional mistakes. I thought it was a good idea, but it turned out to be really trash. It turned out to be really bad. It turned out to hurt a lot of people, or hurt a specific person that I didn't intend to hurt. And so for me, that's what I feel like Mike Todd's situation is, an intentional mistake. In the moment, he thought this was a good idea, because if you see his sermons and you see how energetic he is, he probably called the man that he spit on and was like, yo, listen, I got this great idea. It's going to sound crazy, but if you stay with me, the whole world gonna understand. And the man probably was like, oh, spit. I imagine, because you know, if it was me, I'm like, spit? You can't use no water? No? Okay. Okay, spit. Okay. See, he probably was like that, but overall, y'all, he was okay with it. And the sad thing about the world nowadays is we're looking for someone to crucify. That's like a thing. That's the big thing, to crucify people. Let me give you an example. Because before I give you an example, let me say this. The reason why I said we like to crucify people is because we're not worried about his apology. Because if you didn't know, he went on his Instagram publicly and he apologized to the whole world about what happened. He admitted that it was disgusting. It was nasty. Okay, and he was humble about it. He turned his comments off and everything, so you can tell that it really affected him, because people can be really nasty because they want to crucify someone behind a computer screen or behind a phone screen, but you would not dare say it to your face. But some people will. But don't come over here with that mess, because I'm holy, but God ain't done with me yet. Anyway, he publicly apologized when no one asked him to. You know what I'm saying? And for the people who seen the apology, there were people in the comments like, we don't accept his apology. He don't think his apology is going to change. And I've had conversations with people who said, just because he apologized doesn't mean that he doesn't have to put the work behind it. And my first thought was, who are you? Who are you that man has to prove himself to you? And someone else said, well, you know, we're his supporters. We make him the money. We bring him the YouTube subscribers. And let me tell you something. Okay, come here. Y'all know, come here. What God blesses you with, no man can take away from you. Okay, let's just say, if God blessed you with that thing, that person, that business, no one can take that from you. It wasn't the people that brought Mike Todd the success. He's been preaching for years, and no one saw it for years. It took for God to put his hand on it and validate it himself. Some things God wants to validate for himself. Trust me, I know he's doing that with me. Some stuff he wants to validate. He doesn't want to allow people to validate. He wants to validate you first and then allow the whole world to see what he already validated. So whether you guys support him or not, if he is validated and marked and stamped by God, that's what it is. So this cancel culture, you guys thinking you have the power to cancel people, and people thinking like, oh, you got to prove yourself to me. At the end of the day, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody, and he doesn't have to prove himself to anybody. So for him to get on the camera and publicly apologize to the whole world when he could have just said, listen, I talked to my dog, he was cool with it, I apologize to him, but I ain't gotta apologize to y'all. He could have been real nasty, but instead he was humble, which is what he preaches on. So he's practicing what he's preaching. He was humble. But we want to, not we, because I ain't got nothing to do with that, okay? People want to say he's a false prophet. Oh, it's the end of the days because we have people trying to be Jesus. I don't think, in fact, for a second, he was trying to be Jesus. I think he got too excited on an example and made the wrong decision. I definitely do. I do think that he made an intentional mistake. And I am sure he will never do that again. But instead of us looking at his apology and saying, you know what, that's character. You know what, that's maturity. You know what, that's growth. We want to look at it like, that's fake. You ain't done doing the work. We got to put you through something so you can prove yourself to us. And then we want to harp on the fact. And then on top of that, y'all, do you know how many reposts I've seen about the blog, about him spitting on somebody and how everybody had something to say? But you know what? When he apologized, I didn't see that many reposts. Shoot, I think I only seen mine. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see that many people saying, you know what? Y'all look at this. Because we only want to highlight the bad stuff. This world only wants to highlight the bad stuff. Just like, for another example, outside of religion or Christianity or spirituality, Orlando Brown. I think that's his name, Orlando Brown. He was on drugs. And when I tell you, I've seen countless videos of him acting crazy, being outlandish, belligerent, all of that. I've seen so many videos of him acting out. And people was like, dang, he need to get his life together, because they had something to say. Because it was something bad that they can speak on, right? But as soon as he got his life together, this man got married and he got clean. The whole different person. Do you know how many reposts I've seen of that? Probably one or two. No one really talked about that part. They skipped it. They were like, oh, he got his life together. Oh, okay. Well, I don't have nothing to talk about, so I'm not even going to address it. Instead of congratulating people, we're so busy judging people and tearing them down. It's sad, y'all. It's sad. I have another one for you. Boom Gang. I don't know if you're from Jacksonville or you know. I'm pretty sure you know the boy that was stealing phones and everything. He'd go to restaurants and just act crazy. He was on drugs. Okay, he was so unhappy. Everybody posted his videos. Everybody reposted the video. Had something to say about it. Negative, some good. Some, oh, it's so funny. But the minute that man got his life together, he's following God now. He's trying to put himself on the straight and narrow. Some people do support it. Absolutely. I'm not saying no one does. But the amount of people that supported him when he was basically in pain, and the amount of people that support him now that he's happy, child, it's no comparison. Millions compared to hundreds. Millions compared to thousands. It's not comparable. And that proves my point. This world loves to attach themselves to negativity and then wonder why the world does not become a better place. You cannot say, and I hate to bust your bubble, you cannot say that you really follow God and you really know God and you really love God and then crucify Mike Todd at the same time. Because as we all know, if you really know God for real, that God is love. And I can bet you my soul that if he repented, because I wasn't in his room, if he repented, God already forgave him. So if God forgave him, why can't we? God didn't say, oh, I forgive you, but you got to prove yourself to me. God probably was like, listen, son, I know your heart. Because God looks at the matter of the heart, right? So I know your heart. And I know that was a terrible example. I don't know what you was thinking. But at the end of the day, I forgive you. And when God forgives you, he talks no more about it. He wipes his hands with it. And he don't even remember it. That's in the Bible. Don't y'all read it? That's in the Bible. So why is it that we feel as humans that we have no comparison to God? We are not as high and mighty as God. But as humans, we feel so entitled to an opinion. We feel so entitled to our opinion so strongly that we go on rants and raves and we cancel people and we're not gonna fool with them. He don't even know you anyway. And I hate to say your opinion doesn't matter or your words don't matter, but I'm gonna say this. Your negativity doesn't matter to someone that is anointed. And I had to learn that for myself. Because there was a long time where I was like, I don't really want to do YouTube because I know people are going to be negative. I had this thing where I love to read the comments, but I'll only look for the negative ones because I want to see what people would say. And it would hurt my feelings the way they would talk about other people. So I would be like, I don't want to do that because then they're going to talk about me. But God gave me a revelation. They talked about him. They still talk about God to this day. Some people don't believe, some people do. They talked about Jesus real bad in his face, behind his back, while they was taking him to the cross. They mocked and talked about everything that he did, and he knew he was doing it right. They called him false, a false prophet. They called him fake. They called him phony. They said he wasn't real, but he knew in his heart that he was doing what God sent him down there to do. And so he didn't let it break or stop him from doing exactly what he was called to do. So newsflash, you might not like Mike Todd. You might not ever watch a sermon again. That's your business. I hope I sound like Tabitha Brown when I said that, because that's your business. At the end of the day, I'm not in the business of judgment. And when I say that, I mean it. I'm being shady, but I'm not really trying to be shady. I just want y'all to understand what I'm saying. You can't contradict yourself. If you know God, you know God is love. God is all about forgiveness. He's all about humility. You know what I'm saying? He's all about making you become the best version of yourself that you can be. This, for Mike Todd, was a learning lesson. But it's a lesson. But the thing about the world is this is the talk of the town right now. People hate him right now. Do you know? People walk up to me like, I can't believe you're a Mike Todd supporter. And I am. And I still will be. And I will be watching his sermons faithfully, as I always have, because I can recognize when someone makes a mistake, and I can recognize that we all are not perfect. And as soon as you're able to recognize, and of course, if you support Mike Todd, you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not talking to you. But for the people that may be watching this that know exactly what I'm talking about, this is for you. Love. Sometimes you don't have no words to say. Like, sometimes you just don't have words to say. I am at awe at how much hate he is getting. I get it, y'all. I don't want to take away from y'all feelings. I want to validate a small portion of your feelings. I get it. It was nasty. Totally nasty. I can give you 5 other things he could have used. Water. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? He could have used a lot of stuff. I don't know. I would have took some goddamn toothpaste. I don't know. But he chose to use spit. I get it. But he also apologized. Let's not forget that. And he also, I'm sure, is going to do everything in his power to make up for what he did. You crucify him and tell him he's a false prophet when you don't even know the hand that God has on him. It's not right. How about this? How about you figure out the hand that God has on you before you speak negativity? Because remember, God does hold his leaders at a high standard, and he don't play by his kids. And I need the world to understand that. Whether you're a preacher or you just his child in general, he don't play by his kids. You can't talk down on somebody in that type of position if they're truly anointed. And I believe that he is truly anointed. Anointed people make mistakes too. Anointed people are human too. We like to put these preachers and these famous people and on these pedestals like they can't make mistakes, they can't have emotions. What? God gave them emotions just like us. And let's just I hate to be that person to you, but you know I'm gonna take it there. If I was a fly on the wall in your house, or I was a fly that followed you around every day, I bet you by what, 20 hours in, maybe not even 20, poo, I could find something that I would say that was nasty and disgusting. Because y'all do know spitting on people isn't the only way to treat people nasty or to be disgusting towards people. You do know your words and your actions can be nasty and disgusting and degrading towards people, right? So I'm sure if I followed you around, because it'd be the loudest ones in the room talking, they'd be the meanest ones in real life. They'd be the ones doing the most outlandish stuff in real life. So if I followed you around, tell me, drop it in the comments, love. Tell me I wouldn't see something to where you did something and I'd be like, that's nasty, you shouldn't have did that. That was mean, that was hurtful. Because if you do it on a comment, I know you probably go out into the real world and try to do it on the sly in the real world. But see, the difference between you and Mike Todd, I guess, is yours didn't get caught on camera. You weren't bold enough to put yours on camera because you thought you were doing the right thing. You hid yours. Never talked about it. Never told nobody. Probably don't even feel guilty. And that's the sad part. There's no difference between you and Mike Todd. Mike Todd made a mistake on camera for the whole world to see. An intentional mistake, might I add. Because he thought it was the right thing. I'm going to keep saying that so y'all can get it. But you, what do you do in your personal time? I'm doing this so that you can put this into perspective. No one is perfect. Everyone legit makes mistakes, including you. It's okay to make a mistake. It's not about the mistake you made. It's about how you make up for that mistake. And when I say make up for that mistake, he doesn't have to prove himself to y'all. And that's the sad part, right? Because we want to feel so important. And I might get a lot of hate for this, and y'all might not like me for this, but I'm going to tell you the honest truth. God has already forgiven him. He's already forgave him. It's your turn. It's your turn. Because you would want someone to forgive you. If you made an intentional mistake and you thought it was a good thing and you ended up really hurting somebody, you would want them to forgive you if you said you were sorry. And you want them to not only forgive you, but to not continue to throw it in your face every time they see you. Imagine how that would feel. A lot of times y'all need to start putting yourself into the other person's shoes before you do something. Before you tell him by himself and tell him my time he falls and whatever, after he's already apologized, ask yourself, if I apologize to somebody for something that I did, and then every time I see them they throw it in my face, would I be okay with that? Would I feel good about that? Or would that hurt my feelings? Would that make me angry? How would it truly make you feel? Drop it in the comments, because I really want to know. Because I ain't gonna lie to me, it will piss me off. Every time I see you, it will piss me off. So my stand is where I stand with my Todd. I stand with him and his intentional mistake. I stand with his preaching. We look for so much. It's like people were looking for something. They've been calling him a false preacher for a while. I've been hearing the rumors. But this right here was like, oh yes, we finally got something. Because you ain't really had nothing before. Because at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Your favorite preacher, you want to talk about, oh, Mike Todd said something in his sermon that was wrong. Okay, I'm sure your preacher said one or two things that was wrong as well. But because that's your preacher, you're going to hold it and say that it's law. Preachers make mistakes too. They mess up on their words too. I do, for sure. And I'm not a preacher, but I'm a person. I mess up a lot. So I just can't afford to look at somebody else and point the finger when I'm trying to get myself together. My garden straight. You feel me? So the more we worry about our garden and what we got going on, the less we'll speak on people and what they have going on. Mind your business. It's 2022. Mind your business. Spread love. Love is the best way for the world. You want to know how to change the world? Love. To make the world a better place? Love. Stop all this killing, violence, and all that kidnapping and all this crazy mess? love. It sounds simple, but people make it so complicated. Just love. God told you that. Love your neighbor, for real. That means love people who don't love you. Love everybody. And no, you're not gonna be perfect at that either, because sometimes people get on my last nerves. But when I have my moment, after I have my moment, I say, Lord, I'm sorry for snapping on that lady like that. She better not try me again, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for looking at that man like that. I need to do better. And move on. Give him a break, y'all. Y'all doing too much. I love you guys. I hope y'all not too mad at me. I really do, because I love y'all. And I just want to put stuff into perspective so you can know that everybody in this world, we all trying to get it. We all trying to understand. We're all trying to grasp it. If we work together, it would be so much easier. So I love you, girl, for free. You already know. It's your girl, Yana Samaria, and I am